Lovely.
And the will magically be.
Right now, I'm telling you, you sound crystal clear. We are live, so hopefully we should be coming across loud and clear. No need to do a formal introduction yet, but we can just sort of hang out, check the sounds, check the levels.
Could you hear me then, by the way?
Nope.
Whew, that is a relief. The mute button on the microphone still works. That is
nice.
That is incredible. I've got a message off quite a lot of people. Steph is telling me to pick spectator. That is a good idea.
Oh my god.
If that happens again, I'm not going to be happy. Luigi Ice on a laptop is saying a setup for Canada. Oh dear, I should have made it more clear about the Sick Boy super setup strategy thing that I'm doing. It's only for the race that is like the next race. I'm kind of losing it at the moment. Dark Inferno's messaging me.
Man,
going to spectator
popular
mode.
guy.
Like, I've already done it. What's your guys' time? And then Dark spectator, please. Wow, most people. I thought I was popular for a minute. It's actually just people telling me to stop being an idiot and go into spectator mode, which is it's quite heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. Cameroon. Yeah. So basically, I put a little post out into the Discord. I said, you know, if anybody's struggling with setups, because not everybody has me on PlayStation, so they can't go into Time Trial and just kind of steal my setup. So I just thought, you know, if there's anybody out there that's completely stuck with setups or strategy or like fuel or anything, just kind of give me a DM and I'll copy and send you the thing that I've already written. But
Very
unfortunately,
kind
I've
of
got
you.
a lot of people. Oh well, thank you. But unfortunately, I've got a lot of people messaging me. Oh yeah, have you got a really good setup for Canada? It's like I should have made it clearer. It is only for Austria, and it's only going to be like a day before the Austrian race, and I need to redo it.
Oh,
for
it's
wet
only
anyway.
for the Austria race? That's the only setup that you're...
Oh, as in it's going to be before the VFL race every day, like every week.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So a day before, so we're going to do the Sick Boy Super Lap the day before, which I've done this morning anyway, and then we're also going to do the Sick Boy Super Strategy, which is going to be, you know, it's really nothing. It's me just like noting down any wing changes that I make, and then noting down like how much fuel I use, if there's going to be a safety car, kind of stuff like that. But it's all right. It's nice because hopefully it kind of evens the playing field, because I'm sure that especially in the tier 2, there's a lot of drivers who are kind of using default setups, and it is kind of deadly. I don't think I could drive with a default setup. It's
Bro, does
really
nobody
painful.
else play ranked online?
I do a little bit. So I played ranked a little bit, but as soon as I got a placement, I couldn't find a match at all. But
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before.
it's quite painful, in all honesty.
Cause there's not, I don't know. You would think there would be one driver with a gold rating, but I can't find any gold.
That is unfortunate. I think Dark Inferno does a bit of ranked. if you
Yeah,
look at the
he's
super
the
license.
same as me, the triple silver.
Oh wow. It says, oh yeah, of course, TRT Sick Boy isn't placed. I'm stupid. I'm a gold rank, by the way, PJ. Just
Oh,
to let
are
know.
you? I guess we don't
I
know
am.
that, do we? We don't know
We
that
don't
for
know
sure.
that because we're on the second account. But I'll take a picture of it just for you, and I'll
Okay.
pop it in the Discord chat. But as soon as I got my rank, like I said, I can't find another match. I haven't been able to find a game for a really long time.
Weird.
Oh dear, I can hear myself now. Luckily, at least the stream's not that delayed. There's only like a 10-second delay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I can hear myself. That's tragic. So, whilst the rest of the drivers kind of funnel in to the lobby, before the race actually starts, have you got any predictions, PJ? We haven't raced for a very long time.
Okay,
And,
I have a few
yeah.
predictions. I think B-Rob is about to get pole, or I think B-Rob will be front row lining up for the
Wow.
sprint race. That's my bet.
Is that because he's your driver by any chance?
I mean, a little bit, but like it's because like I've been driving with him lately. Like we drove together in France for the World Cup.
Oh, wow.
And he's just been getting so much quicker, especially on qualifying sessions. I think he's like becoming one of the best qualifiers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess Dark is like always gonna be getting pole and stuff, so it's hard to imagine. But B-Rob maybe number 2.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just actually checking the driver's standings because as we left off,
that was
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, walk me through
we've actually got a tie. So we've got Robert Diaz and Steph. Both have 96 points.
In
so
first?
they're actually joint first.
What?
First.
Steph is tied for first? Let's go.
Steph is tied for first place, which is absolutely incredible. I think Robert Diaz has been leading the championship since round 1, but I would have thought Connor is. Well, you say that. Connor Kidd 5 points behind, ladies and gentlemen, in P3. Cole was epic. 9 points behind Connor in P4, and then it goes Dark Inferno, then Mirko, then Luke J. Gilly, which is incredible, by the way. That is the rookie highest placed. Is the driver who joined this season, and he's in P7. That's incredible.
Yeah.
He's beating Enjui Pachulo. Hey, it's Luke here. And then your man B-Rob all the way down in P10.
He's missed a couple of races. He's missed a couple of races. All right, he's missed a couple of races.
And then we have Sky, Darsan and Oda, Carpa 99, Scanster, Chico Martins 02, Cameroon, Taramax, Burrows, and Petrovsky.
Okay, I also don't want to jinx him or anything, but I will tell you, in the private Ferrari team chat we had, getting some good signs from Taramax today. I think he may be feeling the wheel a little bit more these days. Got some practice in over the long Christmas break. I think he may be poised for a little return to form. Again, I don't want to jinx him. Nobody listens to this part of the stream anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that is very true. Nobody listens to say that I can say I told you so if we see Taramax in like top 5 today.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case and nobody's listening to this, I might as well make a bold strategy, a bold prediction. Even. Yeah, I think Austria. Okay, it's a shocking track, at least for me. Like DNF, like the amount of times that I spin around turn 1, it's just so difficult to get right, especially in qualifying, but even in the race. And also, you've got that really twisty middle sector. I think that one of the drivers who is going to be leading the race for like a really long time is actually going to DNF. Ooh. And I think, I hate to say it, I think it's going to be my boy Steph.
Wow.
My prediction, okay, I really hate to say it because he's consistent as anything. My prediction is Steph's going to be leading this race for 35 laps, and he's going to DNF with 1 lap to go.
Alright, you got it on tape.
Like on his own, as in not even, he's not going to get taken out, he's just going to take too much curb, he's going to DNF.
Right, and you're right, there is a specific, I'm not sure exactly which numbered turn it is, but in that middle sector, right before sector 2 ends, that one that you have to throw it really hard into the left, and then you have the curb on the right, that one can throw you.
That is the exact curve. I've got images of him kind of bouncing over. I think there were some tiny little yellow sausage curbs on the exit of that, and as soon as you touch them, you just kind of die. That's what happens. I'm just
shout out to Sky. He's for some reason just backing Ferrari big time today. Put in the YouTube comments saying that he expects a front row. I was also going to save it for part of the stream that people watch, but since Sky may be watching, big shout out to Sky and Tristan for taking home that World Cup trophy.
Can we not talk about that World Cup?
Why not? Why not? What happened to you? I wasn't really in I wasn't in your group for the first race, and then never really saw you the second race. I don't know, but where was?
We're not going to talk about the World Cup, PJ.
Okay.
Okay, no, we are going to talk about it. What happened is I feel very unfortunate. I scored maximum points. I'm just going to say.
What does that mean?
But it wasn't enough, so I won the race.
Did you?
But yeah, I did.
Wait, in the second race?
Yeah, around Brazil. Where were you? You let me through at one point, PJ. You were coming out of the pits and you saw me on a flying lap, and you were like,
the second race, I was still feeling sick. Had a big headache, and then got a drive-through penalty that I didn't understand, and so I just went into the pits and retired, and then was sort of half watching since then. More just watching Robert's comments in Discord to find out who won. So I did not know you won. I apologize. Congrats to you.
Well, yeah, so unfortunately, and it's kind of heartbreaking that it happened, is Dark Inferno DNF'd on lap 1.
Yeah.
And I held on. I thought straight away, maybe I could DNF, because the win is slim. But I thought maybe if I win and get the fastest lap, I could actually have a chance. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
So you did win and get the fastest lap?
I did win and get the fastest lap.
Wow.
We got 29 points as a team, but we were unfortunately beaten by both Jamaica and Team Italy, and they scored points in the 30s. And we're also not going to talk about the World Cup, because after the World Cup race, I said, congratulations to Team Jamaica for winning the World Cup. It turned out they didn't even win the World Cup. Team Italy won the World Cup.
Oh, right, yeah. Sky and Tristan were Italy.
Yeah, so two embarrassments, unfortunately. But I tell you what, we're going to get him next time. Dark Inferno, he's ready to race, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm excited to see it. This is... I'll sort of talk about this during the quality session or something, but one of my favorite tracks in the F1 game.
Wow. You see, that's a really interesting thing, is because a lot of drivers say it's one of their favourite tracks.
Wait,
like
is it? It's not raining, is it?
It isn't. It's cloudy. It's overcast for
cool.
the qualifying and the sprint race.
Nice.
But yeah, it's interesting that you say that Red Bull Ring's one of your favourite tracks, because it's probably everyone's favourite track, basically. The favourite track that is for the most amount of people. But for me, I don't like it.
Really? Why not?
It's unfortunate. I'm going to come out there. It's a bit like with Baku. It's a fan favourite. I don't like it. The reason why I don't like it is because I've never performed well here. If you remember back when I was racing for TRT that first time, you probably weren't there, but I was really hyping up this race, okay? It was only about a month ago. I was like, oh look, my first race for the esports team. I'm going to do really, really well, and I ended up like DNFing. And then everyone was watching it. Like, Steph was taking the piss out of me. You changed my name to Suckboy. It just wasn't good. And that's why I don't like...
Fair enough.
That's why I don't like the Red Bull Ring. So it kind of, it's a bit like Calendar now. After that DNF in Canada, I can't see Canada in the same light.
I do want to let Petulo, who's in the YouTube comments, ask him why it's only showing a 5-lap race. Just reminding him we do have a sprint race today. Do we choose like a few races to try it out this season?
Yes, exactly. So towards the second half of the season, I think. In the calendar, let's just quickly pan over to it now, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't even say which one's it doesn't even say which one's the sprint races, but I think we've got a couple of sprint races. I think it's Austria, and then there is, I think, another one before the end of this season. Okay. Can you hear the people in the background, by the way, or can I keep on commentating?
Ooh. I was just on board Robert for our first hot lap, but he's invalidated. No, I can't. Anyone in the background, you said?
Yeah. Can you hear people talking in the background?
Nope.
That is a good thing. That means I can continue commentating. And it's a good thing now that you can't hear my, kind of the clicky buttons like that every time that I'm pressing R1 and R1 and switching drivers. But even so, nobody cares about that.
I'm on board with Dark for our first hot lap. There are a few drivers in front of him, but gonna ride on board through lap 1 with Mr. Dark Inferno as he passes a few cars off the road.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Just checking the map right now. Is he on a flying lap actually through the kind of that tight middle sector? Yeah, it's quite tricky. He's got quite a bit of traffic.
Passing by the turn you expect Steph to fly off at, right?
I hate to say it, and if that happens, I feel like he's going to blame me a little bit. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be happy. But yeah, I think that one of the drivers, I thought I'd make it more bold than it was. Originally this morning when I woke up, I was like, it's going to be like one of the top 5 drivers, but it's kind of just been eliminated down to Steph at this point.
Fair enough. Dark, meanwhile, he just 500th of the second behind Sky, but he is on mediums as well as Oda.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible result. I'm just going to quickly name the Sick Boy Super Lap for Austria is a 1:03.628, and that took me quite a while to get that one. I was actually here for almost an hour just kind of lapping the tracks over and over again. Cole was epic, but it's the fastest lap time of a 1:04.395.
Yeah, I would expect somebody to crack that 1:03.
Yeah, I think that somebody today, but I mean, Dark Inferno with a 104.5 is absolutely incredible. And it's going to be a very good decision for Dark Inferno. Is he going to kind of stick with the mediums, even if he's down in like P7, P8, or is he going to go for the softs right at the very end of qualifying?
Do you think this has anything to do with the sprint race factoring into his decision to, I'm not quite sure how
Yeah,
that would...
I completely forgot about the sprint race, but I believe it is the tyres that you qualify on in the race determine the tyres that you are on the sprint race. So if he does end up qualifying on the mediums, it's just going to be a flat kind of handicap to him.
Wait, so he would obviously have to start on the mediums for the sprint race, and then he would have to start on the mediums for the actual race as well?
I'm not too sure. I thought it was a completely free tyre choice. At least the way that the sprint race worked in during the World Cup, it's a completely free tyre choice in the for the main race. So what he could be doing is banging on the medium tyres and just kind of getting a feel for the track, getting a feel for the braking zones and such. I know that he's normally struggling with tyre temperatures quite often, so I hope they don't plague him around Austria today.
And let me know when you want to choose somebody, when you see somebody going out for a hot lap that you want to sort of walk us through each turn. I'm ready at your beck and call. Right now, I'm stuck on Mirko, who's set a purple Sector 1. So hoping to improve his time from a P12. I'm sure he will be.
That is interesting. I'm on Mirko right now. He's 3 seconds up from his last time, and that will pop him around, well, it's 3 seconds up from his last time, which is a 120.
He's 14 seconds up.
Yeah, well, that's probably my thing kind of glitching out. I mean, it was quite good through the second sector. He's trying to avoid the traffic of Oda there, and it's a pretty strong final 2 turns. I mean, he invalidated, actually, on the final corner. Did you see that?
Yeah,
it's heartbreaking.
And sort of what I was gonna bring up with why I like this track so much is obviously it's very short, which means it's easier for everybody to get a competitive lap on the board. There's less turns for you to screw up, so hopefully everybody should be able to nail their ideal lap. It's just the ideal lap has very minuscule differences, and I'm sure you'll be able to see in turns like turn 1 or the last turn going on to the home straight. The ideal line is to get your inside wheel over the half of the curb, but it's just really risky to do that. So it's a track where I feel like those who know how to nail it can really pull out those few extra tenths of a second, and those who don't know how to nail it can still get a halfway decent lap up on there.
Yeah, exactly. And I must admit, you've taken the words right out of my mouth. So first of all, you have that whole weird strategy, and so many tracks have these weird strategies. So with Austria, for example, yeah, you put all 4 tyres pretty much on the white line, and you're right on the edge of invalidating your lap time. I mean, if you go wide just ever so slightly too much, you've invalidated your lap time for running over the white line. It's all about trying to give yourself as wide of an entry into the corner as possible, so that the arc, the ideal racing line arc that hits the apex of the corner, is basically as shallow as possible. It allows you to carry more speed through the corner. But also, like you just said, the margin between top drives is going to be within a tenth, I can almost guarantee it. And that's also a reason why I don't really like Austria too much, because tracks like Spa, it's more about kind of just being able to keep it cool under pressure and string a lap together. But with Austria, especially what I've found with time trial, is that because it's such a small track with only a few corners, there's so much depth. Like, you cannot go the amount of depth to every single corner, like the perfect racing line and the perfect braking spot. Honestly, this track's got so much depth to every single corner, and that's why I never really performed too well. But hopefully the drivers today will be able to perform quite well.
Here we go, B-Rob on his second hot lap. We'll see how he does. He was oh man, damn.
That is unfortunate. Yeah, really big snap of oversteer outside of turn 1. I hate to see it. I think I'm going to be panning over to Robert DS. He's just started a flying lap right now. He's on provisional pole. Let's see if he can teach B-Rob how to do turn 1. And it is a little bit squirrely on the exit. Yeah. But he's going around turn 2 right now, and he's approaching the big hairpin of turn 3, and you can be so late on the brakes, about 80 metre board. And he hits that 80 metre board perfectly. And it's an almost perfect kind of hairpin right there. I think he was a little bit too wide on the exit, and it means that because your wheels are on the curb, you can't get too much traction out of the exit.
Such a tough hairpin there, tough to hold your traction coming out of it.
Exactly, but the lap is going to be decided through this really tight kind of sector 2 and sector 3.
I love this sector. Oh,
I hate to see it, ladies and gentlemen. As Robert DS invalidates his most recent attempt, Cole was epic. Just sets the fastest time, ladies and gentlemen. Only 4 milliseconds faster than Robert DS with a 104.036. Like I said, PJ, I would say the top 4 drivers are going to be within a tenth of a second.
Beast of a lap from Cole was epic. He's been racing fantastic lately. He's pushing his name up there into the top tier of drivers in this division.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, man. Cole was epic. He really has come out of nowhere. I remember he drove for Mercedes last season, and Mercedes were absolutely in the mud. By the way, I'm going to have to interrupt you. Oda, out of nowhere, ladies and gentlemen, beats Robert DS's lap time by a single millisecond. The top 3 drivers now are not just within 1/10 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. They're within 4 milliseconds right now.
That's
Oda
crazy.
Somehow, exactly, squeezes himself in between Cole was epic and Robert DS. And we will get back onto Cole, but real quick, after winning the race in France and obviously the first round of the World Cup, Oda actually won our division race. Me and Dark Inferno were kind of talking about that. I think Oda's just pulled it out of the park for the second half of the season. He's one to watch.
Man, he is indeed, and both the Haas boys will let you know when they're doing well. Gotta love it. Gotta love having different driver personalities and stuff. Both Sky and Oda like to do the talking, which is very fun. Sky, meanwhile, invalidates his lap. He had a good one strung together. I'm on the board with Dark now, who is stuck behind Gooders, and I don't think Dark is going to be happy about this. In that middle of the sector, Dark lost quite a lot of time, basically had to bin his lap.
I think the drivers to watch right now, the Williams boys in blue, they're actually going round the first corner right now, and we've got Steph punching a hole for his teammate Luke. And honestly, it's that Williams strategy, man. I cannot fault it. Let's see how much of a speed advantage that actually gives. Hey, it's Luke here as he goes into turn 3, and it's a really good turn 3, I must admit. And Steph's kind of served his the hole out for Luke. And they're not going for a slipstream all the way up into turn 4. As we watch Luke finish the rest of the lap, I may as well mention that a toe from turn 1 to turn 3 is worth about 0.2 of a second here. And a toe from turn 3 to turn 4, I'm guessing, is around 1/10 of a second. I wasn't actually able to replicate it.
Yeah, it's tough to get both of those. Luke going purple in Sector 2, though, meanwhile. Let's watch out for this time. All top 4 on the leaderboard are in the pits. Luke will most likely be heading in after this lap, but can he stick it on pole before he does?
He was 0.4 of a second faster. If he can string this last sector together, it will be pole. Oh, no.
Wow, and must have lost some time in the last sector. Only goes P4. Will improve. Sky, meanwhile, he gets up to P6. And?
Yeah.
Man. Alright, I'm still waiting on my Ferrari boys. Terramax getting P15 finish. With that lap going across the line, now I'm not sure if he has enough fuel to do 2 hot laps in a row, but it looks like he is.
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. I'm actually watching B-Rob right now. Oh, no, B-Rob actually just crashed, ladies and gentlemen, on the entry. And I think he was just about to...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was just about to start a flying lap. I think it was because he was coming around the penultimate turn, took a bit too much curb. It's kind of blocked the whole of the pit entry, but... Yeah, that is a shame.
He should be able to get in and out.
Yeah, very lucky with the Red Bull Ring is that you can probably leave the pits with about 2 minutes to go and still be able to set a lap. But man, that is kind of heartbreaking for B-Rob right now. He's stuck all the way down into P11. It's not looking good for whatever poor soul is the team principal of Ferrari. I'd hate to be that man.
I know, I'm needing some last minute heroics here from these two to make my predictions look a little more accurate.
I think the man to watch right now, sorry to interrupt, 11.95 in the Aston Martin has just started a flying lap. He's all the way down in P20 at the moment because he's yet to set a lap. But this man is on fire. Honestly, Poppy 11.95 has broken all expectations for Tier 2, and he really is absolutely incredible. I had the privilege of driving against him in France, and it really was incredible for the World Cup.
He's not. Is he just a reserve? Have I lost my?
Is.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
He has not been promoted. We've got to hit that full capacity somehow, PJ. So when it gets desperate, 5 minutes to go, I think Dark Inferno calls up drivers like Pop. It's kind of like a whoever wants to race is allowed to, and that's why right here he's. I mean, this is a good kind of tester, really, because I'm sure the driver will be in Tier 1 next season. So let's see how well he will do when he gets that guaranteed promotion. He's heading around the final corner right now, and it seems like he's actually on a bit of a stormer. This could be cool. Unfortunately, it isn't.
P11.
Honestly, that was shocking. Yeah, P11. It looks so close. It was only half a second off, but...
And Dark is about to begin his hot lap. If he has enough fuel, he will have enough time for 2 laps, but this is a big one for Dark. Always a favorite to start on pole, especially at a race like Austria. You would think that Dark just has this track down. I'm sure he does, just not able to get it down in quali yet. This may be the lap for him, however.
Yeah, there's a lot of time left, and he's got a lot of fuel in the tank, almost 3.3 laps, so he may even be able to string together a full 3 laps around this track with 3 minutes to go. But yeah, really interesting to see Dark Inferno. He had a really big peak in Russia. He obviously won the race, and now he's had a bit of a downtime recently. The last couple of races he hasn't been performing too well. So I'm really hoping that, you know, Steph DNFs on lap 35 and Dark Inferno is able to take the victory.
No, man! Dark lit that section 2 up with the color purple and then invalidates. Just gut-wrenching, man. I hate seeing laps invalidated.
Yeah, and also he gets a terrible exit out the final corner. That's actually going to compromise his lap now. And also don't forget that tyre wear is absolutely crazy around this track, and already his tyres are going to be slower than they were last lap. Even 1 lap makes a big difference.
I'm not sure why we have one Martin Loeb in the YouTube comments shouting out to Seattle Sounders. That's an American soccer club, but shout out to them. I used to watch them. Freddie Montero was a sick player for them. So yeah, shout out. Let's go Seattle Sounders, Martin Loeb.
Wow, that really is something.
MLS, you know, real shit.
Wow. Oda, by the way. Oh no, who was that?
Did Cole? Wait, yeah, what changed?
I have no idea. Oh no, Mirko, ladies and gentlemen. Mirko was all the way down in P19. He's just set a lap time good enough to get himself in P6.
And Dark,
Dark
is on a hot lap. He's 4/10s down, so that's not going to be enough to sniff pole, but it will be enough to get him a decent placement.
Yeah,
let's see if he can
P13.
keep it cool. There we go. This will be a decent lap from Dark. He moves up to 4th.
P4. He's actually on the same row as his Alpine teammate. That's the second row of the grid. He's going to be lining up alongside Robert ES. And that's incredible. I wonder if the 2 Alpines will work together and try and take down Oda and Cole was epic. Man,
here we go. Here's a good question for you, Sick Boy. By the way,
yes,
I'm close to ditching Sick Boy and going to Kyle, I'll be honest.
Go for it. I think that
really?
Yeah, go for it. I don't think
it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while to feel right.
It's gonna take a while. I don't think I'm ever gonna be calling you Peter, your PJ for life.
Well, but PJ is nice because it's like a mix of a real life name and my gamer online name, so it works well. But like, Sick Boy to Kyle is quite the jump.
It's tough. Maybe we should go for Sicky as well. I remember I think you referred to me as Sicky once. And I did like that. I think that we're going to have to do that.
Oh, no, about that. Okay, but here's a good question for you, because we had, I think it was B-Rob or somebody in the Discord pointing out that still, I think it's only 4, or no, it wasn't B-Rob, it was somebody else. Only 4 drivers in the history of our 2 seasons of Tier 1 VFL have won a race, which just sort of blows my mind. Who do you think is going to be that first Esteban Ocon, the first one to nab a win as Steph goes
ladies and gentlemen,
103.9.
The prophecy comes true, ladies and gentlemen. Steph poles it. He's going to lead every single lap of the race, and he's going to DNF on lap 35. I've called it. It's written in the stars.
Oh, no.
Now, PJ.
Oh, no.
I told you.
Oh, and the checkered flag is out, actually. So these are the final laps. Checking to see if anybody is on a flyer. Sky has got a lap in. He's back in P7. He can improve. B-Rob is done. Terramax is done. Not looking great for my predictions. Meanwhile, Connor the Kid and Mirko in 10 and 13. Not a great showing for Alfa Romeo in the qualifying session.
Tom Taylor's in the Alpha Tauri right now. He's one of the only drivers still trying to set fastest lap. He's actually 1.5 tenths faster than his last outing. He was a little bit wide through that middle sector, so we can see if we can string it together and probably get a better result than P17 right now. He's quite low down the table. But unfortunately, he does run wide. Whoa! He's all over the shot, ladies and gentlemen. I think he abandons his lap and decides to go into the pits. And with it...
And Sky invalidates, so I believe that is our table.
That is qualifying. Yes.
Alright, wait, but give me your prediction for who's going to be the first surprise race winner.
I think... so, hang on a minute. According to Robert DS, only 4 drivers have ever won in VFL. I already know Dark Inferno's won a race, Robert DS has won a race, I've won a race.
Yep.
And...
Come on. You know the next one, he's won a bunch. I think he's won more than, like, Robert even.
Connor Kid.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I don't think Steph's won a race as well.
No, he hasn't. It's just those 4.
Wow, that's incredible.
Right?
I was actually thinking that the grid was quite close this year, but I guess not. Really, was it? Last year, it was just kind of me and Robert DS. Wow.
And Connor Kid, yeah.
And Connor Kid, wow. So then this season, has it been Robert DS every single race and Dark Inferno and Steph?
No, not Steph. Connor. Connor's won.
Has he? Right, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to have to check. I hate to say it. Right, hang on a sec. This is very professional. Drivers standings. Wins. Yeah, so Dark Inferno gets 1 win, Connor Kid gets 3, and Robert DS gets 1. How's Connor Kid got 3 wins and he's only in P3? Ladies and gentlemen, you let me know. However, the next race winner, I think, will be... Cole was epic. I think he's doing it this race.
That is a good guess. That is a good guess.
Yeah, maybe. But as we quickly run down the standings for qualifying, I predicted that the top 4 drivers would be within 1/10 of each other, and the top 5 drivers were going to be, until Steph comes along and ruins it, by being an entire 10th of a second faster than the rest of the pack. Even so, ladies and gentlemen, we have the first row is Steph and Cole was epic. Second row, Oda and Robert DS. Third row, Dark Inferno and Hey It's Luke here. Fourth row, Sky and Luke J. Gilly. B-Rob and Mirko make the 5th row, and the rest of the standings are Carper 99, Darsan, Connor Kid, Poppy, JKS, N2E, Tom Taylor, Taramax, Cameroon, and the only driver not to set a lap time during the whole 18-minute qualifying session, Gooders, lines up right.
Well, did Gooders have a quali ban?
I believe so. Probably. Okay. The amount of times that I've said, so X driver has failed to set a lap, it's probably that they've got a qualifying ban. Tom Taylor messaging the Alfa Romeo group chat that at least he's qualified in the top 20. You got to admit that is a good performance from Tom Taylor.
It sure is.
Even so, let's go for some predictions right here. So I've just named the driver who I'm going to think is going to win the next race, and I think it's going to be this race. It's going to be Cole was epic.
I'm going to take Steph. I'm going to take Steph.
Oh yeah, man.
That's my guess.
So you think the prophecy isn't true then?
Yes, precisely.
Wow, that really is something. I think the game's completely glitched out here because we've got 5 lights disqualified from session.
Oh my god.
Luke J. Gilly with a severe collision.
No. Wait, is this the race?
No. Drive-through penalty, jump start.
Oh,
it is the race. Oh no, this is absolute carnage, ladies and gentlemen. The first corner, there's about 20 cars have been going alongside each other. It's like a war zone out here. And the drivers who have received the worst, probably Dark Inferno and Robert DS, both Alpine drivers have been moved all the way down into the bottom 10 on this sprint race. Absolute carnage. Steph has managed to retain his pole position. He's alongside Cole was Epic and Oda. The top 3 drivers haven't changed at all, but it's Alpine who have come out worse. P10, P11 and P12 for the Alpine drivers, and it's P9 and P10 for the 2 Alfa Romeos. I actually had no idea what happened. There was no commentary for the start, ladies and gentlemen. We were just confused.
Because I thought it was a formation lap, yeah.
So did I.
B-Rob has jumped up 5 places to P4, and Cameroon has jumped up 11 places to P8, but he's got a penalty next to his name. There is going to be a lot to sort out after this.
Yeah, they're going 3 wide. Mirko, Robert DS and Cameroon, they're going side by side into the last little sector. And surely this can't end well. Cameroon does give a lot of space to Mirko. He's all the way up into PA. And it's wing damage for Robert DS right now. He's limping around. I saw him go into the back of Mirko during that tight middle sector. And yeah, he's completely kind of really slowed down. Dark Inferno is in a good opportunity. Oh, in fact, he's completely lost his wing as well, ladies and gentlemen. He's slow through turn 1 like crazy. I wonder if there'll be any penalty of any sort for this race, because that was absolute carnage. Turn 1.
Robert going on the inside of Darsan.
Oh, hang on, Tower Max has just been turned around. Turn 3 is completely backwards. He's rejoined the track, but he's moved down about 4 positions. He's now down in P13. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's fine. I would not be surprised if there are some calls for a restart after this, because that was what do you think happened?
I've got no idea, honestly. I've never seen a start like that. Oda has just completely been turned around in the middle sector. He's reset to track, and that's going to be a time penalty if we don't decide to restart the race. But he was completely taken out. I don't know if that was due to the curbs or another driver, and he's having to limp back into the pits. That's a heartbreaking performance for Oda. He was on the first row of the grid. I think he's DNF'd, in fact. The entire game's kind of taken over his car. I don't know what's happened, but Oda's entering the pitch right now with no front wing.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep an eye on Discord to see what the reactions are.
In all honesty, I'm calling you Dark Inferno. In all honesty, PJ, I think Dark Inferno is going to call for a restart. And I want a restart as well, because this is a tragedy.
That's what I was thinking.
We've kind of been robbed of what would have been an absolutely incredible sprint race. So I'm definitely calling for a restart, because, man, I don't know what happened at the start. I'm going to have to watch that back. But I imagine it was quite the sight when we're just kind of completely confused, don't know what's happening.
I'm on board with Sky now, who is pressuring B-Rob in P3. Both drivers undamaged and benefiting from this chaotic start that is going to hold for now. We have 2 laps left around Austria until we can really sort this out. But for now, it is Steph holding on to P1 and Cole right behind him. So those two got out of the carnage clean. And B-Rob and Sky picking up places along with Mirko behind him.
Yeah, I think the driver who may have kind of caused a bit of a collision at the start could have been Entui Pachulo. He's the only driver with a 5-second time penalty. And I imagine that may have been due to contact at the start.
Sky going on the inside of B-Rob in that hairpin, and even better. Oh no, B-Rob will get the DRS, so he'll be able to retake P3, and we have a great little battle going into this right-hander. Can B-Rob get the inside? Yes, Sky's going to try to go for a cutback. It's not there. B-Rob pulls ahead, maintains P3. Great racing from these two, as Sky will surely be able to make a move on this next straight with the next 2 DRS options if he can keep it together.
Exactly. I'm not too sure if it was a great move from B-Rob to overtake on on lap 4 at least. If I was him, I would have hung back for another lap. You want to be in the lead on the final lap of the race, not the penultimate one, because I think it's going to be easy as anything for Sky right now to pop the DRS, use the rest of his ERS, and overtake B-Rob heading into turn 3. We'll see if that's possible. Cameroon gets a 2-second
and he gets such a good exit too. He is going to fly past B-Rob here, I would assume, but not yet. Oh, meanwhile, Cole going on Steph on the inside. Could he hold it? Cole will come out ahead. Who's going to have the DRS? It will be Steph with the DRS. Meanwhile, Sky ahead of B-Rob, 4/10 ahead of B-Rob. Steph reclaims the lead, P1, trying to get in front of Cole before this turn, and he does on the last lap. Meanwhile, Sky making a huge move and putting space between him and the Ferrari. He looks to finish in P3 after the sprint race.
Yeah, that was absolutely incredible driving from both drivers. I mean, the side-by-side battle with Steph and Cole was epic. It almost looked like Cole was going to take it into that twisty sector then. It was right on the back of Steph, but unfortunately, no overtaking through Sector 2. And, more like Sector 3, but even so, it's going to be Steph who retains his pole position. Is that contact between... In fact, that's Darsan, or a driver. Hey, it's Luke here, in fact.
Luke here just flew off, and Dark lost a spot to Karpar. He's now back in P10, dropping 5 places.
Man, maybe the vision I had this morning of a Williams driver losing it on the final lap, maybe that was actually Luke. Since he has just lost it on the final lap, and with his overheated tyres, he's lost it again on the final corner. I hate to see it, but yeah, it's so difficult to drive with those really bad tyres. He ends up qualifying in P15 if we don't decide to restart the sprint race. I mean, that is absolute carnage, PJ, but as a rundown from what happened from the qualifying, the first 2 drivers have retained their P2 position, but P3 is still a Haas driver, but it's no longer Oda. He accidentally lost it, and he's right down the pack. I think he finished P16. is actually Sky, who ends up in P3 after that absolute mania.
Shout out to Terramax, driver of the day, baby.
Of course. I think that most drivers unfortunately lost positions that race, especially the two Alpine drivers. It's heartbreaking. They were in the top 6. And also, can't forget, hey, it's Luke here. I think he did qualify P6. He's going to be starting the race in P15. Absolute carnage. And honestly, I'm going to have to watch that gameplay back. Hopefully you got a good camera angle for us, PJ, whilst you run down the finishing order. I want to see what happened on that first lap.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there are any calls for restarts, just a lot of apologies coming out.
Oh dear. So I'm just kind of watching what happens. Now as I know that it's a race start, a couple drivers do jump the start.
Yeah.
The two drivers being Hey It's Luke here and Luke J Gilly 004 jump the start. Apart from that, I think what kind of causes it's all kind of clean until you get to... I think it's Mirko is falling down the order rapidly. I think Mirko was the first driver to be spun around, and then after that, I'm not too sure what happened, but I've got a really good camera angle. I think I'm going to have to save my gameplay just because your camera angle, it wasn't as funny. Like, honestly, it was like something off a comedy. The camera angle I was able to find with all of these drivers being spun around. It was absolute carnage. But man, that really was something, PJ. I mean...
Yeah, so that's our grid going into the main race.
Heartbreaking for Alpine. I mean, I can't believe we haven't called for a restart.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, sorry.
I feel like we should just go on to the race with the qualifying grid and just bag the sprint race.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then obviously some people like B-Rob and Sky will get shafted from that since they made massive moves.
Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to check all of the the chat, and I mean we got a lot of people just kind of apologising, but yeah, it is interesting kind of what happened.
I tell you what, no matter what, it's going to be a little bit until we get this next race going to sort out this grid. Haven't even heard anything from Dark.
I mean, whilst we wait for the grid to be sorted out, why don't we talk about what you're eating? Because it sounds delicious.
I'm not eating anything. What?
I mean, you gotta... Right, okay.
What?
I vividly heard the unwrapping of a chocolate bar,
What?
the insertion of the chocolate bar
I left
into your mouth,
nothing
and
on.
the crunching, like I heard literally, I'm not even joking, I must be hallucinating, I heard, oh yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit of a long time.
I don't know what to tell you. I've not been eating anything. This does make me think that I want to have one more coffee, which I'm sure will sound funny to you since it's about 9 o'clock where you are.
Yeah, I mean, who's drinking coffee at whatever time it is? 20 to 9. Can't believe it. I mean, whilst we're here, we've got a long time to talk about F1 related stuff, but why don't we talk about Milwaukee related stuff? Oh dear, I think he's gone, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm just making my coffee. I'm here.
Dear, you've got a coffee machine in your room. I mean,
yeah.
I think that's what we're going to discuss. What room is your PS4 in?
'Tis in my bedroom.
Wow, that is incredible. You've got a coffee machine in your bedroom, PJ.
Yes, sir. I like to wake up, get the coffee going, get that smell circulating. Gets me ready for the day.
I think that you're living a life of luxury. with a coffee
you don't
machine
know
in your
me.
bedroom.
You don't know me well enough. Luxury is anything but what I'm living in.
Wow, that is really remarkable. A coffee machine in the bedroom. So, I imagine though, don't like the walls. I mean, at least the kitchen where our coffee machine is kind of, it smells of coffee. So does that mean that the first thing you smell when you wake up in the morning is coffee beans?
I mean, like once I get the coffee going, yeah, but there's not like just a residual coffee stank in my room. It's not, even though I would love that, I love the smell of coffee. I also just use K cups, if you know what those are, Keurig cups instead of proper beans.
No, I don't catch your drift, unfortunately.
All right, they're
I'm
little.
I'm not a coffee expert.
Not a big coffee guy.
Not a big coffee guy.
What,
I'm a tea guy, really.
Tea guy, of course.
Dude, if I had a hot drink of choice, it would always be hot chocolate.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. I just noticed some comments in the YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
What is Oda on? He says, Bucks are trash, and then Obama supremacy, which is very strange. I feel like these kids were like 3 years old when Obama was in office. I don't know how they know who...
He was Martin Lobb. Obama... Oh dear. Bucks trash, Lamau, Obama supremacy.
Just being a menace in the YouTube comments, Oda. Man.
Oh, I don't think that is Oda. That's Martin Lobb.
No, you don't see Oda's comments? He's the one saying Bucks trash.
Yeah, well... Dude. Dude, I think we can... I thought we were arguing about the Obama supremacy. I thought that we just accepted Bucks trash Lamau as being fact.
Oh, the reigning world champs? The reigning world champs?
I don't watch it enough, dude. That's like you talking about how... Or like me talking about how good Peterborough United are.
Peterborough United! United!
By the way, did you hear the rumours? I'm actually not going to be here for the final race in Brazil, meaning I'm going to have to commentate in an American accent.
Oh,
in the race before.
In the penultimate race, as the intellectual Brits would say?
Penultimate? Yeah, I'd say... Dude, I feel a bit bullied right now, dude.
No, I'm sorry. I was actually just... I have a thing about the word penultimate. I have a thing about it. I think it's a weird word. I appreciate that it's a bit more normal across the pond, but over here people just use it to sort of tip that they have a nice vocabulary. It's like I know.
Yeah,
I
think.
Sorry, yeah, not trying to bully.
No. I think I accept it because it really is something that I use just to. Did I even say the word? I think so.
Oh no, that was me. I said it.
I don't even know. Well, it sounds a lot like me. I'd probably, chow out the word penultimate, spit it, wrap my lips around the word penultimate at least 10 times a day. So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's why it almost.
It's just a goofy word. It's just a goofy word because it's like, why don't we have a word that means like third to last? Why don't we have a word that means fourth to last? Like, why is the only one we have? It's just this weird word used for like a really specific thing. I don't know. It's not a big thing for me, but I get it's a little thing.
We do have a special word in England for somebody who finishes last every race. It's called Dark Inferno 373,
no,
ladies and
gentlemen. Hey, who's bullying who now? Come on.
I feel like I need to have at least the next 26 seconds in silence after that one.
Okay, I'll join you.
Can we have a quick 1 minute silence for Dark right now?
Sure. Starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the counters counted all the way down to 0, and that means that we're back.
That was a good job.
Anybody joined the stream and just wondered what was happening. Really
Formation lap underway. This is our grid. I honestly like that we didn't have a lot of discussion about restarting. I'm happy that we got this rolling as quickly as we could.
Yeah, that's really cool. What really is interesting, actually, is the fact that any driver in the top 20, any driver on the grid today can pick whatever tyre they would like.
Uh-oh, Oda's gone off.
Oda's gone off, ladies and gentlemen, on the formation lap.
Yeah, he's back on, but...
That is something. But yeah, so what I was just going to say is we've only got 2 drivers starting on the medium compound, even though anyone can start on the mediums. Only Darsan in P8 and Tom Taylor, in fact it's the 2 AlphaTauris, are starting on the medium compound. Everybody else has gone for softs. It will be interesting to see as well whether they go for the 1-stop or the 2-stop. It's either going to be a soft medium or a soft medium soft for a lot of the gentlemen out on the track today. And it's very interesting. I think that the 2-stop will be the more effective strategy.
Oh wait, you know what? I'm realizing I haven't even really introed the whole stream yet. Mind if I do that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. We're almost about to start.
Yeah, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, VFL Season 2, Race 6. We are racing in Austria, shortest track on the calendar after the chaotic sprint race. This is how our grid is starting. Thank you very much for joining us. Going to get underway soon. I believe this is the best starting position from the Ferrari boys. So that sprint race did do wonders for both Tarmac and B-Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good kind of performance. I mean, AlphaTauri has been skewed kind of all over the place, but Connor Kidd's got a lot of points for Alfa Romeo. I think my boy Mirko, 69.96, hopefully he can take some really big points home for the team. So my money's on him, but even so...
are set on the grid. Oda has left the session for some reason. Not great to see that. I'm going to stay on board with Sky. He is in P3, and he has been cruising as of late. He may make a move going into turn 1. 5 lights off in Austria. Away we go. Steph will get a good start. Cole is not going to be able to creep up on the inside. Sky will go around the inside of Cole and be able to... No, Cole holds him off.
Yeah, a bit of carnage down the pack. A great start from Poppy 11.95, but it amounts to nothing. He kind of has to wait for everybody else to drive in front of him to not kind of take damage. JKS Racing ends up overtaking a load of... Oh yeah,
no.
What happened?
Oh no, Darsan made a huge dive bomb into the side of Dark Inferno. I don't think there is any damage, as well as Robert did a huge dive bomb into that hairpin. He gets up to P4.
Yeah, if you go into Dark Inferno, there's a 3-way battle right now, heading between Robert DS, B-Rob, and Mirko, and it seems like Robert DS is going to be the driver who ends up taking the lead, but B-Rob makes an ambitious dive down the inside, around this twisty, tight middle sector, but it doesn't matter. Robert DS, on the outside, gets a better exit, and takes the lead.
And that has allowed Dark to close the gap. He's right on the back of him. Meanwhile, Connor Kidd gets past Darsan. Darsan may have some damage from
Poppy
that.
11.95 DNF, ladies and gentlemen. 11.95, and it's a virtual safety car on lap 1, and Gooders gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Poppy 11.95. I cannot believe it. On his Tier 1 debut, Poppy 11.95 has already DNF'd. Gooders is in the, I believe, for a fresh wing change, and so is N2E Pulo right now. He's pitting, probably going for a medium soft and to try and catch people out.
And so there you have the biggest losers from the start. Meanwhile, Connor Kidd has jumped 5 spots in Dark Inferno. Quite a hectic first lap. He had a fantastic start, but then, as I said, had to deal with a car into the side of him on that dive bomb. I don't think he had damage. He's gone up 3 places into P7, and Robert has jumped 2 into P4. Meanwhile, the top 3 has all held.
Yeah, this is an absolutely incredible start right now. I think we've actually started. Yeah, the virtual safety car's ended, and Mirko straight away. Mirko's been spun around, ladies and gentlemen. He has held it a little bit. He hasn't lost his wing or anything, but he's lost a load of positions after that. He went for an ambitious move down the inside of
and
that
what do you
tight
make
middle
of
sector.
That? A little
I believe that was
FIA.
turn 6. I cannot believe that. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was an ambitious dive from Mirko. It's a tough move to make. I believe that was turn 6.
Just not a turn where you see a lot of overtakes happening, so it's not a big surprise. I feel like B-Rob didn't necessarily squeeze him off or anything, so may just be an old racing incident. Meanwhile, Cole, he's got the first DRS of the race, and he's going on the inside of Steph into the hairpin. Will he be able to hold this position on the exit? Yes, he will. And meanwhile, Sky stays in P4, as well as Robert. Or Sky in P3 is Robert and B-Rob in P5. So only Cole making a move with that first DRS.
Yeah, unfortunately we've got a formation of a bit of a DRS train all the way from P1 all the way down to really Dark Inferno in P6. Bit of contact between B-Rob and Robert DS heading into turn 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredibly tight round here through this really tight middle sector. Robert DS right on the back of Sky. In fact, he's just gone round the outside of Sky.
Does Sky
and they're going to be side by side, ladies
think?
and gentlemen, heading into the final 2 corners. Sky on the inside, Robert DS holding on the outside, and Sky, unfortunately, in fact, Robert DS goes extremely wide, and then Tui Pachulo's right there in this carnage. Ladies and gentlemen, Sky has just been absolutely taken out because Entui Pachulo, who was a back marker at the time, was on the inside of that corner going about 1 mile an hour. I don't know what was happening, but that has completely ruined Sky's race. He's all the way down into P16. He's just lost 13 positions. But yeah, Robert DS had to go completely wide. They were going side by side through that through that final couple of corners. Absolute carnage right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of that. I think Sky had damage going into that last sector because you saw Robert and B-Rob just easily make their way around him. I think Pitt should have been ghosted, shouldn't he have? Or do back markers not ghost?
Not when Dark Inferno insists that ghosting is turned off, PJ. Maybe we should reevaluate that. I think we get that conversation every single race. Some driver is unfortunately caught out and gets a really unfortunate incident. Real quick, Mirko's gone for an ambitious move on the inside of Cameroon. I'm surprised that he hasn't got a bit of PTSD. He did that exact same move earlier on, and that's why he's ended up so low. He does the move again on the McLaren, and he's ended up taking P11. But yeah, so what can I say? No ghosting allowed, and unfortunately for Sky, that means a 13 position loss.
Meanwhile,
but we have this debate every... Oh yeah, go ahead.
No penalties assessed yet, which is rather surprising. You can see every turn there is a possibility to pick up track limits here. None yet. The top 5 quite close. Dark only 2/10 back from B-Rob. Might he make a move? Steph, he's only a 10th from Cole. He holds behind him and will maybe look to use this DRS to get in front.
Yeah, it's an incredible exit from that turn 3 from Cole, and I don't even think Steph's going to be able to make a move. He goes for it anyway, and in fact, even though Cole's ahead, Steph goes for an ambitious move down the inside, but Cole is maintaining his position on the outside. He gets the better exit due to using the shallower line, and Cole was epic,
so
maintains his lead.
Dark does the same thing behind him on B-Rob, was able to catch both of those on screen at the same time. Very similar moves, and B-Rob does manage to defend. He stays in P4 with Dark right on his tail.
Yeah, what's interesting is Steph gets quite a slow final couple of sectors, but Robert DS gets a brilliant last couple of sectors. So whilst there's a 0.6 of a second gap between Cole and Steph, Robert DS is right on the back of Steph right now. He could actually settle for P2. I'm not too sure what he's doing. He's trying to break the toe on his teammate. In fact, what he's just done is given his teammate a toe on the inside. That was incredible teamwork if you caught it, so that Dark Inferno was able to go on the inside of B-Rob and still get DRS. And that means that Dark Inferno is able to actually get P4, which is brilliant. And in fact, side by side is Steph and Robert DS going through that hairpin, but it's not enough. Steph gets a brilliant exit. And
I'm not sure if there's a difference in ERS being used, or Dark may just have a faster setup in the straight, but Dark flew by B-Rob there on that straight, was able to overtake him going into turn 1. So that battle finally reaches a conclusion for now. Dark will join his teammate in the second row in P4. He has gained 6 spots since the start of the race. Connor the Kid, meanwhile, he has been on a cruise up 7 spots now into P6 and hoping to make B-Rob.
Oh no, hey, it's Luke here. Sky's just DNF'd, and hey, it's Luke here. Has just had a massive spin around the middle sector. He's lost so many positions. I think he was in the top 10. He's all the way down into P15 now. And I was just about to say that Carper99, I believe he's got wing damage or something. He's lost a ton of positions, I think about 5, and now he's just headed into the pits. That is absolutely heartbreaking, and Luke has headed into the pits, meaning he's probably got wing damage. Does that mean he's had contact because he didn't hit a wall? And he's got 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is so unfortunate. If Luke goes for a wing change, he must have made contact with someone through that middle sector. And he is going for a wing change, ladies and gentlemen. So
perhaps a little bit of rust being shaken off in Tier 1, as there is some dicey driving going on around Austria right now. Steph has managed to gain on Cole. He's just a 10th back. Robert similar to him, so Cole is going to be under attack on this next DRS straight, the combination of them.
Yeah, I think that Robert DS has got a really good opportunity to make a move on Steph. Not too sure in the differences of the setups. Like you said, Dark Inferno blitz past I think it was B-Rob. He must be going for a low downforce setup. Steph gets a terrible exit out the final turn, and that means that Robert DS may even go for a move down the inside of turn 1, but he's intelligent and he doesn't. Instead, he's going to try and get the best exit possible out of turn 1 and make a move on Steph. I believe he's going to make a pounce on Steph heading into the hairpin. Otherwise, he could try and make a move heading into turn 4.
Oh, B-Rob and Connor Kidd going side by side as well. Connor on the inside.
Massive. Yeah, Steph's gone for a dive bomb almost on Colwood's Epic on the hairpin. Colwood's Epic just lost 3 positions. He's now down into P4. That allows Connor Kidd to actually move up into P3.
And Connor went on the inside of B-Rob. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I do know B-Rob was spun sideways. He's now 2.5 seconds back from Dark Inferno. So both B-Rob and Cole losing some spots in that hairpin as a result of the moves being made. And look at Robert, how close he is to the back of Steph.
Absolutely, and Steph will not have DRS, of course. I think that Robert DS is about to take the lead of the race, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he tried to take the lead of the race on Steph, but I don't think he was expecting Steph to make as ambitious of a move as he did on Colwood's Epic. I mean, Steph is normally an incredibly clean driver, but even I'm raising my eyebrows on that one, PJ. You should have seen it.
Yeah.
Oh dear, 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with JKS Racing.
Wow, you rarely see that.
Yeah, Mirko getting another penalty, and he's dived into the pits. I think that's his second stop, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just check. I'm actually not too sure. I don't think Mirko has. But yeah, not a good start from Mirko.
And I will say, knowing Robert, though, he is getting pressured from Connor Kidd, but Robert will make the move into P1 on this right-hander. Can he hold the inside? Yes, he can. A fantastic move from Robert. I was thinking earlier that he may not be looking for an overtake around these laps, but I think the pressure of Connor
Kidd going on the inside of Steph around the middle section, and there's contact, and he's been spun around, and he's taken out Colwood's Epic. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe it. Side by side, Steph and Connor Kidd through the middle sector. Connor Kidd has lost multiple positions, and whilst he was in the middle of being spun around, he ends up rejoining the track and colliding with Colwood's Epic. He loses his wing. Colwood's Epic is now in the pits, and Connor Kidd also dives into the pits and has also lost his wing.
I will say, though, that, I mean, obviously you're going to have to get your wing replaced. That's no good. But if you're starting on softs, it's not the worst time to be forced into the pits. It was right before the pit lane entry, so hopefully Colwood's Epic will be able to get in, get out, and recover from that incident. It is not a race-ruining incident, even though it very much could have been having a car fly into your front wing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's probably the best lap for it to happen, but honestly, Steph is kind of, you know, somebody who is just like a man possessed almost. He's kind of taken out quite a few drivers today. He's driving it incredibly aggressively. It's not really like Steph, but we'll see if it pays off in the steward's room.
Now he is sandwiched between the two Alpine boys. They are in a pack of their own. B-Rob 3 seconds behind them ever since that hairpin spin a few laps ago. And we'll see what happens up here at the front. It's been tough to even... Oh, Robert picking up a penalty. It's been tough to even watch what's going on in the midfield because the top part of this race has just been so action-packed, as you would expect in Austria. And I don't think any move will be able to materialize.
Max is just DNF'd.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I hate to see it. We'll try and see where his car was. I think he DNF'd in the pits, in fact. He kind of retired himself.
Oh,
which
man.
is unfortunate to see, but I mean, B-Rob, at least you got one driver in the points. Or at least in a really good position. I mean, my heart goes out to... Hang on a minute, side by side, Robert DS and Steph through the middle sector. Is Robert DS going to be the next victim of Steph's aggressive driving? Ladies and gentlemen, I guess not. Robert DS does actually, in fact, it's Steph who runs completely on the curbs. And they are right next to each other right now. This is a really tight battle, and I don't know if you're watching Dark Inferno, but I think he's a bit scared of DNFing. He was going quite slow through that third sector.
Well, I think that's a great strategy. He's seen how many people get their race ruined right in front of him. Somehow he has managed to escape unscathed. He has had the potential for a lot of incidents, but has avoided them. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's happy just saving up some battery, saving some tires, and saving his race by not getting himself involved in this battle for P1. Here we go, Robert. Going on the inside of stuff.
Yeah, and he makes it stick. Honestly, he overtakes before the braking zone.
Oh, and Dark,
Absolutely incredible move. But Dark Inferno's gone on the inside of Steph as well. They're both Alpine boys. They're going to try and make a move. And you're right, but Steph is using a lot of ERS. No. He's boxed in by Robert DS. And that has allowed Dark to kind of slip by. He's all over the curbing. And the two drivers are going to be side by side through the middle sector. BJ, I can't watch. Steph and Robert and Dark Inferno are side by side. And Dark Inferno kind of lets Steph through, but he dives. Oh, yes, he does. He's on the inside of Steph, heading into turn. Oh, dear. No, he's on the curb. Oh, oh no, BJ.
Oh, my God.
Oh no, I can't believe it.
I gotta say, I love what I'm seeing from Dark here. You can see, as he picks up penalties, his hands must just be a little shaky on the controller, having to stay cool through that sector too. Dude. But you can see 2 times there where Dark could have stayed wheel to wheel and forced a move on Steph. Instead, he brakes early, lets Steph get ahead of him, and tries to play the safe game. It is still dicey regardless, but so far, these top 3 drivers not taking anyone out. I hope it stays that way, but you're right. Every time we get around to Sector 2, it feels like we got to hold our breaths.
I honestly think that clip is going in the VFL Hall of Fame. That was, I think, the most intense 30 seconds of racing I've ever seen in league racing, like
Meanwhile,
in F1 history.
Let me cut you off. Darsan and Luke J. Gilly going side by side, and JKS right behind them. Darsan on the inside, and he's going to go deep into the turn, push Luke to the edge. I think it's fair racing, but meanwhile, JKS, he slips in there. You're right.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. Carper 99 has just DNF, ladies and gentlemen, around turn 1, and his car's kind of right in the middle of the track. But yeah, so another really tight battle. I thought this would be a DRS train today, ladies and gentlemen, but this is anything but. Going back to the top 3 drivers, Steph gets a bit of a poor exit. Did you see that from the final corner? I did see it,
and I'm watching
and that means Dark Inferno only 0.2 of a second behind, heading into the second DRS zone, and Steph is not able to catch up to Robert DS. Have the Alpine boys gone? In fact, I apologise, ladies and gentlemen, he's all over Robert DS, and he's gone for the inside line heading into turn 3, and he goes back to the outside. He goes very deep into turn 3, and Robert DS is not able to overtake, but he's got DRS, and he's using his ERS, and he's able to slip right by the outside of Steph right now, and regain the lead of the race, heading into the twisty section.
Yeah, not far behind them. JKS and Darsan battling, going side by side. Darsan on the inside this time, and they're going to be side by side in these dicey pair of corners that we saw Steph and Dark battling through. Can they stay clean? JKS takes the inside line and manages to find the grip. He's on soft tires, so he will be able to hold P5. Great racing from JKS. He's up 7 spots through the race. Meanwhile, Steph has lost a bit of space to Robert as he and Dark do enter the pits.
That's interesting. I think the driver to watch right now is Luke J. Gilly. Let's see if his softs give him a better exit from the final turn, and unfortunately they don't. Let's see if he can make a move on Darsan and JKS. Luke J. Gilly doing incredibly well. He's made up 14 positions this race. So let's see if he's able to make a move on Darsan heading into the hairpin, and he's got an incredible exit from the turn, and he's side by side with Darsan halfway down the straight. He's gone for the outside. Oh no, Darsan's broke much later, and he's able to retain the lead, but then he cuts back on Darsan. They were so squirrely out of that corner. They were banging wheels and everything. But it doesn't matter. Luke J. Gilly.
Yeah, great racing from Luke there.
Was able to cut back and take P4. Yeah, like you say, what a drive from Luke J. Gilly.
And now Luke and JKS may get into a bit of battle. It's JKS 4.8 seconds behind B-Rob. B-Rob, he's 2.2 seconds behind Robert, so a bit of a strange grid we have now with Steph and Dark going into the pits.
Darsan, unfortunately, really squirrely around the middle sector, actually. He's lost about half a second to Luke J. Gilly in front, and JKS and Luke J. Gilly are both entering the pits.
As so is B-Rob and Robert.
Right at the end, yeah, so B-Rob and Robert are both diving in. Now this is interesting. Dark Inferno and Steph go for the undercut, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to come way ahead of Robert DS.
I think
Robert DS should have pit maybe even 1 lap before Dark did. I think they're going though for the one-stop strategy, because you should have pit lap 11 if you were going for the 2-stop. So it'll be interesting to see if they are going for the one-stop
And
strategy.
Robert comes out well behind his teammate Dark, so a good strategy move from Dark. And Steph, And the battle resumes, Kyle. Yeah. There we go. First time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. I was just about to say, Steph gets a poor exit from turn 3, and he gets blitzed by Dark Inferno.
Oh, boy. Honestly, here goes Dark.
He must be going for the low downforce setup today, because the speed difference between Steph and Dark is absolutely remarkable. I think Dark Inferno is going for a bit of a safe strategy right now. He's like, I don't want to be side by side with anyone. I'm going to go for the low downforce setup, and I'm just going to DRS overtake. And hats off to him, because it's going to end up working. He could take this victory right now.
Yeah, I don't want to assume that I know what Dark is thinking, but again, we were both mentioning how he was playing a bit conservative going through those corners, and I would be very happy if that was the case, because I think that is the best strategy at this point in time for Dark, and it is paying off for him now. He is leading the race as Darsan's starting on those mediums. He will have to pit soon enough. Dark does have the penalties, as does Steph, as does Robert, so I don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a tight battle, as Steph once again goes for a move on Dark Inferno heading into the hairpin. He breaks earlier, he goes wider, he isn't able to get the cutback though, and Dark Inferno gets a better exit as well. Let's see if DRS is going to work into turn 4, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, and it does. Steph goes for the move on the outside, but he gets a bad exit, and Dark Inferno and Steph, they're side by side, heading into the twisty section of Sector 2. BJ, I can't believe it, but Steph, he's gone deep, and Dark Inferno, they touch wheels through the middle sector, and they're side by side, heading into, I think it's turn 6.
Oh, it's Steph, so good.
Oh man, it doesn't matter. Steph gets a bad exit. Dark Inferno is incredibly brave, going side by side with Steph. And Steph gets a 3-second time penalty, but it doesn't matter. Dark Inferno, what a drive. He ends up.
Dark is racing like a monster right now. He's playing safe and aggressive at the same time, I feel like. He's going to be under attack once more. Yep.
Oh, no.
And it doesn't matter if you can. Oh, but he does go wide onto those bumps. And now Robert gets into P3, and the Alpine boys will be able to hold up the Williams, hopefully, unless they clash going into this hairpin. Here goes Robert on the outside, and Dark will give it to him. It looks like he'll have a DRS coming out of this hairpin, so maybe he'll be able to retake. And Steph has not fallen back too far.
Steph's got an extreme amount of speed. They're going three wide into the turn, PJ. But it's Dark Inferno who gets ahead of his Alpine teammate, and Steph completely backs out of that.
Can I just say, if all 3 of these drivers finish this race, I will be so surprised and so happy. But it is a nail-biter every single Sector 2 on these laps. I mean, goodness, these drivers.
Oh, Cole! Cole's just binned it around the second sector, unfortunately. He was battling with B-Rob, I believe, but he's tumbling down the order. He's all the way down in P10 right now. That's heartbreaking. For Cole was epic. A 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, dude. That's getting removed. He completely spun out. He was driving along the grass, gets a 10-second time penalty. That is going to get removed. No kind of question about it. And he dives into the pits. I think that he actually had a bit of contact in that middle sector with B-Rob. Is that really a sign of what's going to happen to Dark Inferno one lap before the end?
No.
Dude, the prophecy, I told you. Steph is going to lose it on the final lap.
On the final lap, you think? Meanwhile, Robert making it up the inside of his teammate Dark. Dark will let him go and hope. Again, I got to be thinking that these 2 Alpine drivers are just doing their best to keep Steph out of the front position. They're happy training it between themselves. Maybe not, though. Maybe there's a bit of a rivalry brewing between Dark and Robert.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Robert DS is actually quite a distance ahead of his teammate, but then again, Robert DS is kind of battling with Steph right now. Like, as much as good as this battle is between the 3 drivers, I don't think well, at least I kind of forgot that Steph and Robert DS are equal on points, so whoever beats is going to end up leading the championship heading into the next round. So it kind of makes this fight even more intense.
And right now, both the Alpine drivers, B-Rob and Connor Kidd, are sitting on 3 seconds, while Steph is sitting on 6 seconds. I've been up at the top for so long, I'm going to try to ride on board with JKS for a little bit here to see if he can make a move around Connor Kidd, who's stranded without DRS. He's going on the inside into this hairpin. He'll be able to make the move, as well as Luke J. Gilly going on the inside. Connor will lose 2 spots. He gets shoved from the back, I believe.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. I'm just quickly checking the calendar. Right, hang on.
Why are you checking the calendar?
The next race is in Imola, ladies and gentlemen. So whoever wins out of the two drivers of Steph and Robert DS will take the championship lead heading into Imola. And so far, it seems like it's going to be Robert DS. I mean, there's a massive gap of over a second between him and Steph behind.
There's a lot left to go. And you would assume that all three of those drivers up there are using these mediums until the end of the race, right?
I would presume so, yeah. Unless we get a late safety car, they've all pit around the one-stop strategy time period. I mean, no, Robert DS goes into the back of Darsan. Darsan's obviously on an alternate tyre strategy, so he isn't a backmarker. He is leading the race. But Darsan, heading into turn one, Robert DS gets a little bit ambitious and ends up hitting the back of Darsan, almost loses it.
And Dark is going to try to take care of him too. Just one of those things where you want to get past that back. I mean, I know he's not a back marker, but he's on much older tires. You want to get past him as soon as you can. And Darsan actually doing a good job letting all three of those drivers through. I think that's the best strategy for him as well. He doesn't want to get caught up in any of their battles. He's on a fine enough ulterior strategy. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I was just about to say that the two Alpines get past Darsan quite easy heading into turn 3, but then Steph kind of makes an ambitious move. He knows if he's stuck behind Darsan for that middle sector, he's going to lose out big time. And I think Darsan was kind of forced to almost pull over to the side of the track for a little bit.
And there's a great battle between JKS Connor and Luke J. Gilly going on in the Sector 2 right now. Luke just picked up a 3-second penalty to match that of Connor.
Yeah, so... Oh yeah, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's fine. These three have been racing closely for a few laps now. Oh, and
what's interesting is, Dark Inferno and Robert DS are going side by side. I don't think there's going to be too much battling between two Alpine drivers, but Dark Inferno gets a bit of an oversteery exit from the hairpin, and that allows Robert DS to kind of breeze past. Steph nowhere near enough to make a move onto the two Alpine drivers, but what I was just about to say, PJ, is the fact that Steph has got a 6-second time penalty, whilst the two Alpine drivers have a 3-second time penalty. So if it kind of remains as it is, Steph is not going to really get a top 2 finish, unfortunately for Steph.
Yeah, and that's not only the only implication is B-Rob is just 2.7 seconds back from Steph, so he would actually be able to claim that last podium spot. I do have a feeling that penalties are not done for the day. There are still 14 laps to go, and as we mentioned, quite a lot of places you can step off the track, so it will be a matter of who can keep it the cleanest for these last 10 laps or so. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely crazy. This race is really shaping up to be something special. Talking about backmarkers, Robert DS is actually approaching a real backmarker, Entui Pachulo, who is unfortunately last, I believe his AI may even be driving his car. But yeah, Robert DS and Dark Inferno are getting scarily close to Pachulo. They may even kind of make contact with him through the middle sector. That would be absolute carnage for all three drivers. But hang on. Dark Inferno is making a bit of a ballsy move up the inside of Robert DS. No. Oh, hang on! They've just bang wheels, Steph and Robert DS. I thought I just had a heart attack then, honestly. That was scary, man.
Steph pulled out of that real quick. Good for him. Again, if these three can just all finish, that will be a miracle.
It will, honestly. I cannot believe it, but honestly, after that, there's a bit of a gap now between Dark Inferno, Robert DS, and that back marker of Entui Pachulo. He ends up getting another 3-second time penalty, unfortunately. I mean, Entui Pachulo could actually kind of decide the result of this race right now. If he bangs his car in the middle of the track during that Sector 2, it's going to be tricky for the two Alpine drivers to get in front of him, and I think that will give Steph an opportunity to overtake, possibly even both of them.
Meanwhile, Darsan does finally enter the pits. Man, we have 5 racers DNF this race, so it is taking its toll. Connor gets by JKS going into the hairpin. JKS will have the DRS to retaliate, but I think it's a little bit too much of a gap to make it a real go, as we'll see right here. No.
Nah, exactly. That is interesting. Luke J. Gilly, though, right on the back of JKS. But
yeah, these three are stuck together.
Yeah, they are. They are really pushing. But I think JKS is kind of not pushing 100%. Remember, he doesn't have a time penalty, unlike the other two drivers. He knows that all he has to do right now is stay behind Conakid for the last 33% of this race. And he's beaten him because Conakid obviously has a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, and I will say, somebody that's a bit interesting, oh boy, as Connor goes into the pits, okay. Oh, and Dark picks up another 3 seconds, so now it is Robert in the lead of the race with only 3-second penalties on him. I can't imagine any of those getting removed, as they are just good old track limits. But I was going to say, it's an interesting race for B-Rob, somebody that's really been racing on his own ever since that one incident. How many laps ago? He's been in clear air for so many laps now, and he's not really been able to gain time on those front three, perhaps because they're trading DRS, but they are battling quite a lot while B-Rob is in clean air, so I would hope that B-Rob is able to catch up to them and put him in a spot where he could overtake Steph and Dark as the penalties get assessed.
He's actually dropped back a little bit. He was within 3 seconds of Steph, whereas now, as I just say that, actually, he's gained a little bit of time. But yeah, really will be interesting to see if B-Rob can pick Steph for that bottom step of the podium. I was just checking the race director, and Robert DS only has 4 warnings. I'm just going to quickly check again. So that means he can get another warning before getting a time penalty. Yeah, he does only have 4 warnings, so it seems like it's highly likely that Robert DS may finish this race with only 3 seconds of time penalty.
And that would be massive, yeah, because if he picks up one more, then you do have B-Rob with a chance to really jump some spots as he crosses the line. For now, he's safe. Luke J. Gilly is 7 seconds back from him, so nothing going to happen there. Meanwhile, the 2 AlphaTauris trading spots back at 7 and 8. And the trio of Luke, JKS, and Connor has sadly been broken up as Connor had to enter the pits, so no more battling from them. And a fairly quiet few laps from the boys in the top 3.
Yeah, what's really interesting is that Dark Inferno's actually got barely any ERS left. At one point I checked and he was on about 8%. So it'll be interesting to see if that will make it easy for Robert DS to overtake him. And also easy for Steph to maybe approach, because remember, Dark Inferno and Steph can still battle for P2, so be interesting to see what happens. But it's calmed down a little bit heading into the final third of this race.
Now let me ask you, if I'm sure you've been in this position before, say your team comes between Dark and Robert. Robert has less penalties than Dark. Do you think that it's beneficial to just let Robert go ahead and then try to have Dark hold up Steph? Or do you just race it out and not worry about that sort of stuff?
I would actually think it's the complete opposite, in fact. I think what they're trying to do is that they know that Dark Inferno's got penalties, so the last thing they want is for him to be next to Steph, who also has the same amount of penalties than him. We know that Robert DS will win the race, even if he crosses the line in P2. So yeah, I think what the Alpine boys are doing right now is they've made sure that Dark Inferno's in the lead. Robert DS is basically just a blockade for Steph right now, and kind of see how it goes for the rest of the race. I think that's the strategy that they're going to be pulling. And
we will too. There has not been an overtake between these 3 for a few laps after it seemed like there were multiple every lap. Steph 4 tons back from Robert right now, so I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, oh dear.
Oh, is this not exciting enough for you?
It's not exciting enough for me, PJ. Obviously, I'm getting a bit sleepy after there's not been a side-by-side battle between the drivers for a while. Then again, though, Steph. Oh! Yeah. Steph just goes into the back of Robert DS heading into the hairpin. That's woken me up a little bit. That was a bit carnage. I was just about to say that this is the best of time as any. And also, that strategy that we were talking about, Robert DS is just throwing it out the window as he overtakes Dark Inferno. Yeah. Dark Inferno, yeah, I mean, he just kind of just overtakes his teammate completely.
Quite a go at it, too. It wasn't necessarily a easy spot to overtake. So, but Steph's still nearly a half second back from Dark, so they are safe in P1 and P2 for now. Man.
Yeah, what's really interesting is just checking the gap between the kind of the leader and B-Rob. He's within 3 seconds of both drivers. You don't realise that B-Rob could actually finish in P2 right now if he keeps his momentum. Dark Inferno overtakes Robert DS once again as he runs extremely wide on the exit of the final corner. And Steph gets an absolutely incredible entry into turn 1. And that means that hopefully he's able to make a move on the Alpine boys, but it doesn't really matter. He's not able to at the moment. But yeah.
Meanwhile, Luke J. Gilly and JKS, they may have lost Connor, but they are still going at it. Luke J. Gilly will take P5 going down into the hairpin. And I don't think JKS will have any chance to get back at him quite yet. So it goes for now. Robert, meanwhile, just a 10th back from Dark, and they do hold going into the winding middle sector.
Only 7 laps to go, PJ. At the end of this one, it's really interested to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the big thing is that B-Rob has picked up his pace. He is now 2 seconds back from Steph, and he is only 2.7 seconds back from Dark.
Yeah, that really is remarkable. What's interesting is the fact that... Oh, hang on, yellow flags.
Oh, Luke J. Gilly's off.
Luke J. Gilly. Yeah, that is heartbreaking. Luke J. Gilly and JKS were battling for the longest time, and I guess they were side by side through that middle sector. Rather than watching the top 3, we should be watching that, PJ.
It could have been contact, or it could have been what you've guessed earlier, where tires are starting to wear by now, and if you're going flat out through those turns, you can get flung off very easily. So not sure how it happened. If there were some nefarious incidents occurring, I'm sure we'll hear about them in the incident report channel. For now, position still holds. B-Rob, again, 2 seconds back from Steph.
Yeah, that is, I mean, a crazy kind of situation right now. I don't think Dark Inferno wants Robert DS to overtake him, but I'm not too sure whether Dark Inferno and Steph have both clued on to the fact that B-Rob is pipping both of them of their P2 position.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, I was just about to say that B-Rob's got 3-second time penalty, but he's always had a 3-second time penalty.
And again, you can't imagine that any of these penalties are going to be removed since they were just track limits. There's not a lot of arguments to be made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. Robert DS still only on 4 warnings. If he ends up getting another 3-second time penalty, we could see your boy B-Rob on the top step of the podium. Right,
meanwhile, Robert eyeing to move on the inside. He won't do it this time. Man, Steph flying into the back of Robert again. He did that a couple laps ago as well, and that'll cost him a bit. He's going to have to work to get back to that close position. And B-Rob 6/10 back now. Robert not able to make a move on Dark.
Yeah, what's interesting is I don't think Robert DS is pushing at the moment. I don't think either driver's really pushing because Dark Inferno is getting quite a bit of ERS. But Robert DS, look at him, he's almost on 80% ERS right now. So he's really got an extra kind of load of power in the bank that he's just not using. Steph right now sitting on a big bank of about 50%. If he really uses a lot of his ERS down the straight, he could overtake Robert DS. But really the main goal is he's just got to overtake Dark Inferno. That's who he's battling. He gets really squirrely on the exit of the final corner then and he loses quite a bit of time.
Tom Taylor just made an immaculate move on the outside of Cole through that hairpin. Manages to come out about wheel to wheel with the DRS, so he will get into P11. There's some backfield action for you. Oh, meanwhile, as I'm checking that, Robert gets ahead of Dark right before the hairpin, so the Alpines do finally swap.
That's crazy. If I was Steph right now, I'd be seizing this opportunity, and I think he is. He's using all of the ERS in his tank. He knows this is the only opportunity he's going to get. I think he's not going to go for a move, unfortunately. Heading into turn 4, it was just a bit too far back.
Yeah, there's just not one
Dark
there.
Inferno, yeah, he might get some really bad dirty air through this middle sector. He's going slowly because he doesn't want to hit the curbs a bit too much, but so is Steph, to give credit to him. I mean, look, this could easily end in disaster. Steph goes extremely wide, loses a lot of time through the middle sector, in fact. We could see a move on Dark Inferno happen right now, actually. More of a chance than ever. This is the battle for P3 right now, because B-Rob is going to pick both drivers and end up finishing in P2. Almost guarantee at this point. He's only 2.6 seconds away from Robert ES.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we've said, B-Rob has picked up his pace in clean air. He has had a lonely race separated from these top 3, but if it holds, he will get P2 as Robert will hold P1. Steph, man, he's looking at it, but he holds back. The move is not quite there yet. Wouldn't be surprised if he sends it up the inside on one of these final laps, as we only have 3 laps left to go. Man, I hate to say it, I wish I could watch these 3 battle around this track for a few more laps, but we are running out of time in race 6 in Austria.
I can't believe it. I think it's a bit too late for Steph right now. I mean, when he was going for that move, he had barely any ERS left, and Dark Inferno is now sitting on a tank of 40%. Just so difficult to overtake in this trap, PJ. So, yeah, it's unfortunate for Steph. Honestly, my predictions, as Dark Inferno almost loses it through the final corner then, I was getting incredibly nervous.
No.
Dark Inferno, I just want him to finish P3, okay? But, yeah, I think it's, I hate to call it, but I do think it's a little bit too late for Steph. Not many laps to go, and I think his tyres are really dropping off.
Yep, I think you're right.
It's to see that Oda's actually got the fastest lap. I was wondering who had the fastest lap. Turns out it's Oda, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Dark. He thought he might have sent
lock up
it
from Dark.
Yeah, but it's fine. As long as it doesn't destroy his tyres, he's not really losing any time from that. And again, B-Rob has closed the gap to the smallest it has been since it's existed. Under 2 seconds, he is looking solid for a P2 finish. A great race from B-Rob. Again, a very lonely race. As you can see, Dark is losing a bit of traction on these tires, so it's a...
Oh, he goes over the curb then. My heart kind of stopped for him.
Yep.
He's
You're
really
talking
struggling.
about Steph?
Oh no, actually, Dark Inferno as well almost kind of lost it through the middle
Steph
sector.
did the same thing, yeah. He had to
will
lay
the
off
prophecy
the
come true? PJ, he hasn't led the race since the very beginning, but will Steph lose it on the final lap?
I'll still give you credit if he does it in P3. And
that's close enough, I think.
Man, Dark is getting very close to Robert.
Steph gets a 3-second time penalty.
Another 3 second. What does that mean? I don't think it means a lot, to be honest.
No, unfortunately, it's still going to be a P4 finish for Steph, but it means that the dream for a P3 finish is completely over. Dark Inferno is going to be absolutely ecstatic after that. And I think he's got that P3, remember, ladies and gentlemen, even though he's in P2, kind of covered right now. He's got a lot of ERS back in his tank.
Oh, don't do it, Dark. Don't do it, Dark.
On Robert DS.
Don't do
it. On
the
penultimate lap.
Why?
Oh,
no.
Doesn't leave much space to his Alpine teammate.
There's no point to this.
Imagine if the two Alpine drivers take each other out right now. That would be shocking. Maybe he's going for fastest lap. I mean, the fastest lap right now is pretty much unachievable. It's a 101.4. Is that a hack? Or something from Oda?
Yeah, it's got to be a glitch. It's got to be a glitch because Oda left this session, so I think it's a bit of the AI glitch.
Oh,
but I think they're just true racers who, regardless of the scenario, if there's a move to be made, they will make it, and that's probably what Dark is thinking. Regardless, it won't change much. The last lap is underway. The Alpine of Robert does look to have P1 locked up if he can stay penalty free on this last lap, and now B-Rob has finally gotten within DRS range of Steph, which again,
I mean,
won't
if I
matter
was
too
Robert
much.
DS real quick, I would really be using that big Urs tank. Maybe that's why Dark Inferno let him through. Will Dark Inferno let him through right now? I think he is, in fact. I think Robert DS is going for fastest lap. No, he isn't, because Dark Inferno has maintained his position on the inside, and that is the fastest lap dream over for Robert DS, and that was a shame actually. He had a lot of ERS, he had DRS on Dark, and he's only about 0.4 of a second slower than Conakid, who currently holds the fastest lap if we ignore Oda. That's a shame really. Robert DS could have picked those 2 extra points, and they go a long way in the championship. But it doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen, because even though Dark Inferno is the driver who crosses the line in first place, it doesn't matter, because Robert DS is the driver who wins the Austrian Grand Prix with B-Rob driving an incredibly clean race and pipping that P2 spot for Ferrari. And the battle has finally ended between Dark Inferno and Steph, with Dark Inferno taking the bottom step of the podium and Steph, 12-10, taking P4 for Williams. It's a relatively quiet race for JKS. For the last couple of laps, he takes P5. Luke J. Gilly gets post-race by Conakid for P6, so Luke J. Gilly actually finishes P7. Darsan finishes P8, Mirko in P9, Oda, despite being controlled by the AI pretty much the entire race, finishes in P10, Tom Taylor in P11, Cole was epic in P12, Cameroon in P13, Gooders in P14, and Enshui Petula. I don't know how much of the race he was controlled by a real driver and how much he was controlled by an AI, but unfortunately for Petula, it's I think he's been lapped 1 or 2 times. He's got a 15-second time penalty. It is heartbreaking. And the DNFs today... Oh, I do apologise.
No, yeah, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I was just about to really quickly say that DNFs, but they went off the screen. I believe it was like Carper, Poppy, Luke J. Gilly... not Luke J. Gilly. Hey, it's Luke here. The other Luke of the league. It's some other people I don't really know. But anyway, PJ, take it away.
I'm hoping we can maybe get Robert Diaz in the call, because not only is he the race winner, but he's also saying that he should have some penalties removed. Asking Dark how many penalties he'll have removed. So maybe it's not as simple as we assumed. Again, I thought they were track limit penalties, which don't really get removed unless circumstances really ask for it. So if you want to get to inviting a couple people, maybe Robert, maybe we could maybe do Robert, Dark, and Steph, as they were really the stars of this race.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I'm also going to invite Oda real quick. I know that he's been messaging me. He does really want an interview to explain how he DNF'd. So I'm going to make it, or at least how he kind of, what happened, sorry, in the social race, or the sprint race. I can't even speak English right now, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's got a bit of an explanation as to what happened in the sprint race, but he really wants interviewed, so we'll make it very snappy with the Oda interview, because we've got a lot of drivers to get through, so we'll keep it to maybe one question per driver, as we kind of just wait for the drivers to funnel in, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy, Steph is saying that he's going to report Robert.
Oh no! What's happened?
I don't know.
It looked relatively clean between the two drivers. ARA underscore Oda 7, okay. That's where Thingy wants me to invite him. Fair enough. Robert DS has joined the voice chat.
What's up, Robert?
Hello, hello.
Good race, man. That was a fun one to watch.
Yeah, it was fun.
Can I ask straight away? I was happy to have Dark here as well. Dark, congratulations, great race. I was under the impression that all the penalties y'all had accrued were sort of just simple track limit penalties and would not be coming off. Do you want to talk about any of the penalties that you may be able to get removed?
Yeah, well, I for sure. So I could definitely get my 3 seconds removed because I got a double warning for one of them, but I just forgot to clip my race director, so I might not end up, unless someone's happy to sit through 30 laps. But
no, that's okay. I did actually catch a glimpse of your race director.
Oh, thank you.
I was actually, oh no, I'm not recording my gameplay footage.
I mean, Robert's got, from what I could tell, well, I guess if Dark can potentially remove penalties. Dark, do you have any pens that you may be able to get rid of?
I'm really unsure. I got a double warning for I got a double warning for, I think it was leaving space, so I think I can get those 2 removed.
Okay.
And then on turn 1, it happened. This is what happened why I spun in the sprint for lap 1. My car got really light on the braking, and I had to cut the corner, otherwise I was dead basically. So I might be able to get it removed because I didn't gain an advantage. So I'm unsure if I could get that 3 seconds removed. But either way, I think Robert definitely deserves that win. He was insane.
Dark, usually I let Kyle, as I'm now referring to him, take it away and ask some questions, but I do have one, because we were watching some of those side-by-side battles that you 3 were getting into, specifically in Sector 2, and even more specifically, you had a few turns with Steph going side-by-side into some corners that you really shouldn't be going side-by-side in, and I saw you play it a bit safe and just pull out and then stick behind him. Was that a conscious decision of yours going into the race, that you were hoping to play a bit more conservative, or do you want to speak about those decisions to sort of play it a bit more conservative at times?
Going side by side to the second sector is incredibly dangerous, but I was trying to be conservative, also trying not to get penalties, which didn't work out. But anyway, so I just tried not to make contact with Steph, because I just want to finish the race without being DNF. So it was conservative.
Yeah, you did it, man. I mean, after a few tough races, I know some things haven't gone your way. This one has got to feel good. A fantastic performance from Alpine to be able to battle that whole race and keep Steph behind you. That was a good one.
Yeah, thanks. That was a massive team fight. If you notice, I didn't really try to attack Robert all too much or any dangerous ways. Obviously did stick my wheel inside, but the main goal was to try and keep Steph behind as much as possible, which I think will help him in the drivers as well as the constructors. I
mean, I'm gonna have to quickly ask a question. I mean, that was an absolutely insane race. You, Steph, and Robert DS were like literally side by side battling with so long. And I thought that you were going to do an F for quite a few times. Honestly, it was one of the most intense races I've ever seen. But, I mean, were you and Robert DS kind of working together a little bit and trying to gang up against Steph? I mean, I saw one moment in which, and I thought it was genius, you were trying to overtake a Ferrari, and I believe it was Robert DS moved to the side and gave you a slipstream in order to overtake the Ferrari. So just stuff like that. Were you working together?
We weren't in the party together.
I did that on purpose, though. Yeah, the slipstream. I was proud of that one.
Yeah, honestly, it felt like even if I was in a party with someone, I wouldn't be able to pull that move off. It was really something. But Steph has just joined the chat, ladies and gentlemen, because I can hear my voice echoed, and it feels terrible.
I was muted, but okay.
Oh, okay, well...
I think it's Robert,
well,
actually.
Robert,
Robert.
yeah, maybe it's Robert.
Sorry.
Oh dear. Even so, Sebastian Vettel was in the chat.
Stop it! Don't do that. Don't stop.
Oh dear. Even so, Steph. One thing of note is actually it was a bit of a dangerous race with you today. I mean, you were kind of side by side with quite a lot of drivers. Do you think you're gonna receive some penalties?
I will, definitely. I killed Connor, I'm so sorry for this.
Oh dear.
I don't know, what was it? I think turn 5 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We fighted and I lost my rear and completely went into him.
Yeah, it really was a shame. I remember panning over to it, and I think a couple of times drivers were like side by side with you, and then the next time I pan over, they're kind of like last in the race. So it seemed like a really tough race in Austria, but it was a really good one. Normally you just have like a DRS train, but today it was absolutely crazy. But I mean, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we had a DRS train. All the time. I was in P2 and then Robert hit me, he overtook me, and then I was P3 and had no chance. I don't know. Yeah,
it seemed like a pretty tough battle from your end. You were getting a lot dirtier and everything, so just seemed like a very difficult race, but well fought. And I mean, it's a shame that you weren't able to go on the podium in the end because of B-Rob. But it seemed like an absolutely great race. Honestly, me and PJ were having a whale of a time kind of commentating for it, and I think it's going to go in the VFL Hall of Fame, some of the commentary moments.
Yeah, it was fun watching three OGs battle it against each other through multiple laps. That was a fun one.
It was. But I'm not going to lie, I kind of felt like I should have been the fourth driver there, PJ. I should have been, in the mix.
Oh boy.
Chucking my wheels down the inside, but...
Old man thinks he's still got it. You're retired, Kyle.
I am. I'm too old to race. I'm retired. I'm chained to this box. That's actually what's happened, ladies and gentlemen. PJ's just taken me hostage. I'd love to leave, but I can't.
Alright, Oda is joining in and out. Do we want to get him while he's here? Oda, are you here?
It's not working for him. I can't even see his name.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I think he's just left, actually. Oda's really struggling. He's really lagging out. Oh, yeah, he is in the party. But he's kind of loading in for me. It's kind of really glitched in. Which is a shame, but yeah, Oda really struggling to get in. Oh yeah, that's another question to everyone, whoever's got the best answer. What actually happened on the sprint race, in which, I saw like 15 cars spun around?
Yeah, that was between me and Sky.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
And me.
Was it? The original contact was me and Sky. He turned in, I think, a bit too early. I turned in a bit too late.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of came together and caused a massive pile-up.
I did spin, but I'm unsure if that was. I felt that was through my own cause because again the car, as I said before, happened in the race as well. The car got really light and I had to kind of save it, catch it.
Yeah.
Can't work out. But yeah, that's how. I don't know if I was hit or anything, but.
No, I think you were through.
Okay, fair enough. I did get damaged though. That's why I was slow.
Yeah, I damaged too.
It was a really unfortunate, my heart went out to Alpine almost, because you got a really good qualifying result, and then in the sprint race I saw you down in P11 and P12, but the fact that you've been able to crawl it back to a double podium appearance is incredible, so hats off to you two gentlemen, and hopefully we can keep this momentum going into Imola, which is the next race, and I just cannot wait for it, but I think
that'll
that's going to
do
conclude it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. going crazy hearing myself echo. Is that Robert?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, and we got Oda.
Last
minute. All right. Oda, we're about to wrap it up. How about you give us a quick explanation of what went on with you?
First, let me start with qual. I was in my lap like around 1/10.5 faster than Steph, but I invalidated on the final corner. 1/10.5 faster.
Oh dear.
It was painful. And then in the restart, my mate, he was entering my account, entering, because you know. That's what happened. He was entering my account, and then I texted him telling him he cannot enter. And during the race, it was pretty much uneventful, honestly. I spun once, but other than that, I just drove for 36 laps around Austria, doing nothing, honestly. But in the end, Tom Taylor was really close to me, but a glitch happened, somewhat of a glitch, where he went ahead of me somewhat, by 5 seconds, even though he was behind me by 0.5 of a second.
Oh dear.
I don't know, it should be sorted.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a nightmare race, but hopefully you've changed your password.
I would change my password. I gave it to him, because I had the game he wanted, and honestly, I would change it. Okay, I wanted to remove him, but I couldn't last minute, so I can race on my second account, the one I'm talking from right now.
Makes sense. But it is an unfortunate.
But I couldn't. I was literally racing from the football court to here. Literally racing, stress.
Yeah, well.
It was easy.
Yeah, hopefully your luck can change heading into the next race.
I won't come in Imola, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean it was a really good qualifying result as well, like P2, I think.
I could P3.
P3,
I could have got pole, but invalidated on the final corner.
That is really unfortunate.
By 10.5.
Oh dear.
And my fastest lap, definitely it's genuine. Definitely, please do not remove it, okay? It's definitely genuine.
Oh, what, the 1 minute and
really,
1 second?
Definitely
That's
genuine.
another thing,
Definitely. It's definitely genuine. Definitely the AI didn't do it for me. Definitely genuine.
Oh dear. I think we're going to have to call that a day, unfortunately. It's the stream's been on quite long. I think PJ can kind of take it away for the exit if you want to.
You sure can. Thank you very much for joining us. Congrats to everybody if you did well. Shout out to B-Rob. Great P2 finish. Big ups to him. We will see you next week. Same time, same place in Imola. Tier 2 racing in Austria this Sunday. Have a good one until then. Adios.